Ciao, sono Anna e questo è My Italian Circle. The Divine Comedy is one of the most famous literary works of all times. Who was Dante and why did he come to Verona? His first shelter, Dante in Verona. Dante Alighieri, author of the Divine Comedy, is so well known that he is usually referred to simply as Dante. He was born in Florence in 1265, but he spent the last 20 years of his life exiled from his hometown and died in Ravenna in 1321. Dante was exiled from Florence for political reasons. Ugo Foscolo calls him Il Ghibellin Fuggiasco, but he actually belonged to the faction of White Guelphs. He was against the excessive influence of the Pope and in favor of the intervention of the Holy Roman Emperor in Italy. In the Paradise, the third and last part of his Divine Comedy, Dante describes the hardships of exile.
Tu proverai, siccome sa di sale lo pane altrui, e come a duro calle lo scendere e il salir per l'altrui scale.
Tuscan bread is traditionally saltless, so the bread that Dante is forced to accept during his exile feels salty to him. At the same time, he resents having to climb somebody else's stairs, living as a guest in somebody else's house. As we saw in our previous video, in the Paradise Dante writes about the Scaligeri, lords of Verona. After a short stay in 1303 under Bartolomeo della Scala, Dante spent several years in Verona between 1312 and 1318 as a guest of Can Grande I.
Lo primo tuo rifugio e il primo ostello sarà la cortesia del gran Lombardo che in sulla scala porta il santo uccello, che in te avrà sì benigno riguardo che del fare e del chieder tra voi due fia primo quel che tra gli altri è più tardo.
Dante describes Bartolomeo della Scala, his host and patron during his first stay in Verona, as so kind and benevolent as to give even before being asked. Can Grande I is also mentioned in the following verses.
Con lui vedrai, colui che impresso fu e nascendo, sì da questa stella forte, che notabili fier l'opere sue. Non se ne son le genti ancora accorte per la novella età, che pur 9 anni son queste rote intorno di lui torte. Ma pria che il guasco l'alto arrigo inganni, parran faville della sua virtute, in non curar d'argento né d'affanni. Le sue magnificenze conosciute saranno ancora, sicché suoi nemici non ne potran tener le lingue mute.
The Divine Comedy is set in 1300 and Can Grande was born in 1291, so Dante imagines to meet him when he's only a 9-year-old boy, and he takes the chance to praise him for his future achievements. This street in Verona is named after Dante. On this plaque, his family name is spelled with 2 L's. Family names had many variants and spellings at the time. The Alighieri or Aldighieri family did not originate from Florence, but probably from Ferrara. This monument to the supreme poet, Il Sommo Poeta, erected in 1865, is the reason why most people in Verona call this square Piazza Dante, instead of Piazza dei Signori, its actual name. It is surrounded by medieval buildings and was the heart of the political and social life of Verona under the Scaligeri. With these words, translated from Latin, Dante begins a letter with which he dedicates the Paradise to Can Grande. A mystery surrounds the last 13 canti of the Paradise, which could not be found anywhere after Dante's death. According to a legend described by Boccaccio in his Life of Dante, the poet himself appeared in a dream to his son Jacopo and showed him where the manuscript was. This is the house where Pietro Alighieri, one of Dante's sons, lived after 1331. He worked as a magistrate and judge in Verona for many years before moving to Treviso. The house is right in front of the church of Sant'Anastasia, where a fresco was recently uncovered that might portray the Supreme Poet himself. It might have been commissioned by his son Pietro. In spite of his nice words, Dante's relationship with Cangrande was not always a bed of roses. Cangrande was a practical and sociable man, while Dante was haughty and reserved. In Verona he would get a final disappointment. On the 20th of January 1320, Dante read his Quaestio de Aqua et Terra, debate about water and earth, before Cangrande della Scala's court, in the church of Sant'Elena, near the cathedral. Here, he discussed a cosmological problem in the unsuccessful attempt to gain a chair at university and establish himself as a scholar. Dante died in Ravenna the next year, probably after contracting malaria. His remains were never returned to Florence, his unloving mother. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to receive a notification when we publish a new episode.